Afternoon. This is Virginia Todd with Leading Edge. I'm here in the greater Boston area, and I've been in the business for about 10 years.
Good morning. I believe it's still morning.
Is it still morning?
I think it's afternoon.
Time flies.
I know. My name is Leo Turco. I am a local mortgage broker with Evolved Mortgage in the North Shore area and have been advising clients for over 23 years.
So today we're going to talk about a topic that a year ago you might have laughed at me if I said, "Oh, let's talk about price reductions." You know, what is that? People haven't heard about that in the past couple of years because everything's flown off the shelf. But due to the higher interest rates, and they seem to fluctuate a lot, sometimes you feel like if a property's been sitting for more than 2 weeks, maybe we need to talk about doing something to motivate buyers to come in. Yeah. So the automatic response normally is, "Oh, we must reduce the price." So we'll just use an example, and we'll use 10,000 as an example. Yeah. So I might go to the seller and say, "Hey, let's just reduce the price." The problem is, if you reduce the price for 10,000, it really doesn't really help a buyer too much. I mean, 10,000 monthly payments over 30 years, it really doesn't do anything.
It doesn't. People would be surprised at what the numbers
you
look
think
like.
it's just big deal, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, and it's the same effect when we're advising clients on, hey, what's it look like if you paid 10,000 over asking?
Yeah,
like, how much does your number actually move?
That is true.
You know, you'd be surprised. So, yeah, huge thing, right? If a property's not moving and not attracting offers, right? There's obviously like. Sometimes it's staging, sometimes it's marketing, pictures like that. But sometimes it's affordability. Exactly. Like a buyer's not attracted to your home because they can't afford it. So there's some techniques that can be done because the main reason why someone buys a home, outside of it fitting your needs, there's always a financial decision that's made.
100%.
And the main part of the financial decision is, hey, if I contribute this much money for down payment and closing costs, and I look at what's left, I feel safe.
Exactly.
Number one. The second part is, this is my monthly payment with taxes, with insurance, with how much I borrow. And when you look at that monthly payment versus your budget, I can still save. I can still fund the future. I can maintain my lifestyle. I feel safe with this. So those are the two main financial motivators why someone will buy a home. So let's talk about, maybe a listing isn't moving because financially it's not attractive for buyers. Yeah. So what's the main thing a list agent would do? Maybe.
Just reduce the price.
Reduce the price, right? So let's use some real numbers. I think
it's quick and easy.
Quick and easy, right? So let's make you look better as a list agent.
Exactly.
Right? So we'll use 500,000 as an example at 5% down. Okay. So clients' contributions $25,000. Rates have come down some since I've done this math, but let's use 7.5 just in case they go up again, right?
Yes.
Listing isn't moving. Let's attract more buyers. So a lot of list agents will be like, all right, let's drop the price 10 grand. Yeah. Right? $10,000 price reduction. What does it do to a client's monthly payment? All right. So let's look at this, right? At 500,000. 5% is $25,000 down. Okay. We drop the price to $490. 5% of $490 is $24,500. So has their contribution really changed?
Not at all.
$500? If you're buying a house, like that shouldn't really break your budget.
No, not.
So you haven't really attracted them from aspect number one, which is contribution. Yeah. The aspect number two is payment. So what does a $10,000 price do to your payment? At 7.5%, it drops your payment by $66.43 per month. Yeah. So
that's a couple of lattes.
Here's some financial advice. Yeah. If $66 a month blows up your budget, you're shopping too high in your appetite.
Way too high.
Way too high.
Yes.
There's things in our lives that we should be able to find to shave that. I can't tell you how many subscriptions I have. For like,
I know.
I don't know, what is it? Well, Netflix is like a mainstay.
I feel I have like 10 versions of Hulu and Disney.
Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, like all these
my
things.
My husband and my kids say, we can't cut any of these. My life would end.
I have Sirius that's like $40 a month. You can find $66 in your budget if you really want to. Have you really attracted a larger buyer pool? I think what you've done is attracted people that will try to negotiate you further down.
Exactly. And the 10,000 might be 20,000.
Right, might be 20.
Yeah.
You know,
everybody inspection might be 30. Yeah.
Everybody
so it
wants a
help.
deal.
Exactly.
Right. So
exactly.
you've just hinted that they could get a deal.
Exactly.
Right? So let's look at a second option. So that same $10,000 price reduction. Let's not reduce the price.
Okay.
Let's take that $10,000 and do something else with it.
Yes.
So one of the more common ways is to offer what's called a seller concession.
Okay.
So what that means is that the seller, instead of dropping the price $10,000, is willing to give 10,000 of that 500 they get back to the buyer.
Yes.
And what that does is it gives the client like $10,000 of money to play with.
Exactly.
So that does two things. Number one, it feeds $10,000 into their contribution target, into their contribution appetite. So now they can, I don't know, put $10,000 more down because they know they don't have to spend 10 on the back end.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing that it'll do is the seller can also, the buyer. The buyer can also elect to keep their down payment the same. Mm-hmm. Right? So that same example, they put 5% down, it's $25,000. So instead of dropping their contribution to 15, they can use that concession to buy a lower interest rate permanently.
Yes.
So it's a permanent
over the
life
of the loan.
Over the life of the loan.
Yeah.
So $10,000. We use the same example, 7.5%.
Okay.
We'll drop a client's rate to 6.875%.
Okay.
Okay. So still borrowing $475.
Still
buying the house for $500.
Okay.
It drops their payment by $200.86 per month,
which is better than the $66.
Better than the $66. So now you've made a bigger impact in a potential buyer's budget that might make, them pursuing it a little bit more attractive. But you have to have a good lender to talk about these things, right? But there's a third way.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Buydowns?
I've heard about it. It seems to be like a buzzword nowadays, but no one can really explain it properly.
Yeah, I know.
So can you explain it?
I'll do my best.
Okay.
So I've been doing this
because
for 23
years. Because you have to
years.
explain it to me, and then I have to explain it to a potential seller.
Always refer them back to me.
Okay,
of
course.
So a Buydown, it's been around forever. Okay. It's not something that just came out like, pre-rates going up or anything like that. It's been a doable thing in the mortgage business forever. Actually, let's be real, not forever, but long time.
Long time, okay.
long time. Not in the past year or a couple of years, longer than that. Yeah. So so there's two types of buydowns. Okay. One's permanent and one's temporary. So
I think I've only heard of the temporary one.
No, so the permanent one is when they take the $10,000 credit and buy the rate down. That's a permanent buydown. Yes. Then there's something called a temporary buydown. Okay. You'll hear the marketing as a 2-1 buydown. Yes. A 3-2-1 buydown. What it does is it temporarily buys your interest rate down before your rate resets back to its base. Okay. Okay. So we'll use that same 7.5% example. We'll talk numbers.
Exactly.
All right. So same house, $500,000, same down payment of 5%, same seller concession of $10,000. Okay. But the client, instead of doing a permanent buydown, uses it for a temporary program called a 2-1 buydown. What it does is that for the first year of their mortgage, their interest rate is 2% lower than the base rate. Oh. So if the base rate is 7.5, like we've been discussing, in year one, their interest rate is 5.5.
Which is nice.
5.5.
Which is good because when you first buy the house, there's always unexpected costs, and this gives you kind of like the cushion.
It does, right? So then what happens after year one? Yes. In year two, your interest rate is only 1% lower than the base.
Okay, so that's what the 2-1 stands for.
2-1 stands for, right? So then 3-2-1 starts with 3% below, 2% below 1%, but way more expensive of contribution from the seller side.
And we're just dealing with 10K.
10K. Okay. So you do a 2-1.
Yes.
So second year, interest rate's 6.5. So the base is 7.5. Year one, it's 5.5. Year two, it's 6.5. What happens in year three? In year three, it goes back to 7.5. Okay. But here's the kind of thought process behind it, right?
Have to look at the big picture.
Yeah, big picture is hopefully we're in a peak interest rate environment.
Yep.
And interest rates historically are cyclical. So peak meaning that if we're somewhere near the top,
yeah,
eventually they should cycle down.
Exactly.
Which means that there's an opportunity to refinance in the future and improve your mortgage payment over time and catch those moments economically. But here's what it does when you're buying in a high interest rate environment. That's probably why they're popular right now in the buzz, because rates are higher than they have been.
Exactly.
So the first year when the rate is 5.5%, okay, with a 10K reduction in price, they save $66 a month.
Yeah.
With a permanent reduction, they save $200 a month.
Yep.
With a temporary reduction, year one, they save $625 per month on their payment.
600?
$625 per month. So now the rate goes up 1%.
Okay.
Right? So it goes from 5.5 to 6.5 in year two. Year two, their payment is still $319 less per month.
Which is really good.
Huge. Right? Take 625, multiply it by 12. Take 320, multiply it by 12. Add that up. It's a huge savings in budget, monthly payment.
And then you hope at the end of, or within the 2 years, that you might be able to refinance.
Yeah, and if not, you're at 7.5%. Exactly. You're at that original payment, but that's
which you
savings,
qualify
right?
for.
Which you qualify for, right?
Exactly.
Right. So what 625 times 12 is like, I don't know, 7,500, something like that. Say around there. 320, 319 a month over 12 months is like, I don't know, $3,700, $3,800. You save that client. That's where that 10,000 went.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So, what happens if they refinance?
Yes. Before
it sets to the base rate.
Yes.
Yeah, great. That's an important thing to understand.
So like 1 year in.
1 year in, right?
Okay.
So we look at how much of that 10K was used up, and whatever's left over becomes a principal reduction during the refinance. So you don't lose that 10,000. So it's a little bit better than a permanent buy down, because if you spend 10K to go from 7.5 to 6.875, you spent it. And then if you refi a year later,
too bad, so sad.
Gone.
Yeah.
But in that temporary buy down program, there's a possibility of using the leftover excess as a principal reduction. So you owe less money when you refinance. You don't lose that 10 grand. You're going to use every penny of it, whether it's a payment design or a principal reduction.
Can I ask you a crazy question? Okay. So let's say you're at the end of the 2 years, right? Yep. And we're going back to the 7.25. Are you able to, let's say you won $10,000 in a scratch ticket, can you buy down the rate again, or you can only buy it down once?
It's contractually part of the original mortgage.
Okay, so you're just stuck with that.
Unless
refinancing is the only way to change it.
Correct. If you're at 7.5, 2 years from now, I mean, we're already starting to see like high sixes, low sevens back again. If this current movement stays, we should stay in the sixes for the next year. I don't think we'll see a 5 handle, which means a rate that starts with 5.
Yeah.
Mid 2025 is my prediction.
Okay. Now, another thing is, I know with my mortgage, I always pay a little bit extra to the principal every month because I'm trying to reduce the payments I have and not make it 30. If in the first year you're saving whatever, $600 a month, you said, could you apply it towards the principal in just that 1 year? Would that help you?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that will help you.
Yeah. I mean, it's the beauty of it is it's a cash flow management technique, right? These temporary buy downs or a permanent buy down. It just improves your monthly cash flow.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, life is, if we simplify it, spend less than you make. Yep. And you'll be okay. Right?
It's very tough to do.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? $10,000 price reduction. How many people are you going to attract?
It does nothing. Yeah, nothing.
Nobody. A seller concession, you'll attract a little bit more.
Yeah.
But a seller concession advertised as willing to do a buy down program will attract more buyers.
Exactly.
Because the lenders that can articulate that to their potential.
Exactly.
To their client potentially
the
buying
buyer agent and the lender.
Yeah. It becomes highly more attractive to a larger buyer pool.
Yeah.
So I would say the last thing to do is to drop your price if the listing's not moving.
100%.
Yeah.
Or worst case scenario, if even after all of this nobody wants it, well then maybe take the $10K that you're going to reduce the price and fix whatever it is that's stopping.
Get some staging done if it's empty.
Exactly.
Make the place look pretty.
Or fix the furnace, or replace the roof, whatever it is.
I would say empty houses is like probably like one of the
really
biggest.
Tough.
The biggest. It's hard for someone to walk into your listing and envision living there if there's nothing there. So, you know, minimalism with some good taste.
Yes, exactly.
Not cluttered, can really help on the presentation side.
100%. Well, thank you so much. I enjoyed our conversation. Again, this is Virginia Todd with Leading Edge.
And this is Leo Turco with Evolve Mortgage, and that can be found at leoturco.com.
And check out our other videos. Take care.
Bye.